So we have 3 out of 4, so that makes quorum. So we will start this meeting of the Airport Commission at 4:10 p.m. The first item on the agenda is the agenda. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
And is there, so Jeff Munger, your phone is on mute. Actually, I can second that, so I will second that. Thank you. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, we have an agenda. First item is public forum is beyond Tom. Is there anyone from the public on this call?
No other public members of the public.
Okay, thank you. So we will close public forum. Item 4 is our guest presenter, Tom Durso from Vermont Flight Academy. Thank you, Tom, for coming in. Sorry for the delay in getting this thing started today, but we're eager to hear what you have to share with us.
No problem at all, and thanks so much for having me. So I'm new as executive director here, relatively speaking, since July of last summer, and very excited about the opportunity that is presented here. I see a fantastic opportunity for this to become a center for excellence in STEM and aviation training, and not just conventional aviation training. I think there's a good deal of support, and there's been a fair amount of work started in looking toward the future of aviation, which undeniably will be electric. A large number of aircraft manufacturers have prototypes and are testing, and will have, as a matter of fact, there's Pipistrel is a manufacturer now that produces an electric training aircraft. Not very practical, but as in all of these things, the leading technology tends to improve pretty dramatically over the years, as you've seen the technology in cars improve. So we have a good deal of support from Beta Technologies, and also Nick has also been very supportive in this endeavor. The building that Beta contemplates building would house VFA, VTC, and BTC, and be a center for STEM and aviation training. And what Beta and VFA are working on together is a plan to transition to all electric training aircraft. There are aircraft manufacturers. Currently, we fly Cessna 172s, which is really old technology, Lycoming engines that burn low lead gasoline at a rate of about 10 gallons per hour. What we're investigating is transitioning to an unleaded training aircraft that consumes slightly less than half of the amount of fuel. So this is a very practical trainer in its current state and can complete all of the missions required to achieve your licenses. And it serves as a bridge. This particular aircraft manufacturer is developing prototypes for electric aircraft. So, we hope to develop a team between VTC, VFA, BTC, and Beta to create a pipeline for e-aviation technology, the technicians required and the pilots required to complete the conventional training to be able to hand off to Beta to support their ALIA aircraft demands. It's really a very exciting opportunity, I think, for VTC. Currently, their addressable market really is pretty much New England, is parents and students from New England attend the college. If we're successful in this endeavor of creating a state-of-the-art learning center, we create an addressable market the size of the continental United States, because I think we can create something that just presently does not exist. And that affiliation with Beta, their contribution to the building and the technology and the learning and working with VTC on the training curricula to support technicians really could be very, very powerful. And, I thank Nick for his support in this, and Beta certainly in the middle of, enormous projects to get their business up and running and progressing. They're diverting time and energy to help put this project together. So the support of all the airport commissioners, greatly appreciated. Really very exciting. So any questions from anybody in terms of this grand vision or what we're doing currently?
I have a question. I'm trying to, so I understand this partnership and it sounds really very exciting and forward thinking. So are you saying that in the new Beta proposed construction, your school and it'll be in their buildings, or are you staying where you are now and just have this relationship? I'm just trying to understand where on the airport property you'll be.
It's not their current manufacturing facility, but they're contemplating a training facility here on the West Valley ramp.
Okay.
And that's where they would have room for VFA, VTC, and BTC as well. Space for all of us. So we currently train, we're up to now 30 Beta employees. We do the training, and we'll be expanding that. And this facility will provide an ability to continue to train the VTC students, as well as we have about an equal amount of sort of local community student pilots that we train, roughly similar to the VTC headcount. And now with Beta, we're up to 30 of their employees. So this will provide enough room for us to continue to expand that. State-of-the-art briefing rooms and technology to support the ground training.
So will you keep your existing facilities, or will this be instead of those?
Yeah, that's I think we're open. That's an open question in terms of, is there a way to utilize this in a way, in an efficient manner, in conjunction with that building? For instance, this facility could perhaps be the maintenance hangar for the aircraft, as opposed to storage, which I think they're plan on building some very big hangars. So Beta is in the process of hiring an architect to work with all of the stakeholders to begin to flesh out how much space would be required, what type of space. What's really exciting, there was I guess it's a $10 million grant for BTC to be utilized on the airport. And we're going to meet together to see what kind of synergies could we achieve with those two buildings.
Mm-hmm.
While
Okay.
it's it's going to be a school district building, can it be co-located in a way that the two buildings can be utilized together in an efficient way? And then, could this building itself, be bundled into that in some way? So all of those are good questions that we're going to be working on over the next several months.
Okay. Can I just follow up with you, Nick? How does this vision, I guess, it's still a vision, right, Tom? We haven't,
Yeah,
or it's a plan. I mean,
some of
what's-
the fog is beginning to
Okay,
lift.
well, okay, more than a vision. It's a,
Yeah.
how does this connect to the rezoning?
It doesn't
Does
right
it
now.
at all? Pardon me?
It does not right now.
Okay. All right.
So where Tom is speaking of in the Valley West apron or
Mhm.
adjacent to Valley next to their current facility, there's some amazing synergy, like he said, down there to really work with
Okay,
not only Beta, but Tom and the VFA Academy to look at those efficiencies down in that valley in that available apron. So this does not impact, right now, this does not impact anything associated with
okay,
the northern rezoning. The students and maybe the pilots that come from Tom's school right? There could be additional opportunities for general aviation property, hangar space, aircraft location, or just general ownership with the facilities up in the rezoning, meaning it's a much
Okay.
broader aspect of general aviation up there.
all right, thank you. And thank you, Tom, that was a good explanation.
Thank you for your question.
All right, I just have one question for you. I'm really excited by the switch from gas powered to electric power as terms of training. Are you aware of any other flight programs, either in the Northeast or across the country, that are either electric now or moving that direction, or are you really a pioneer in that respect?
Well, I mean, currently, the only option really available for training aircraft is the Pipistrel, which has about a 55-minute range, which talk about range anxiety. In a car, you might get stuck somewhere by the side of the road, but you'd hate to be 56 minutes away from the airport with a 55-minute range. So right now it's kind of suitable to do sort of touch and goes. So Technam is a manufacturer who is working in conjunction with Rolls-Royce. They've already built a hybrid prototype, which is a combination of a unleaded, low fuel consuming conventional engine along with a motor in conjunction with it. And they have a twin engine aircraft actually under development along with training. And there are several other manufacturers. So right now it's not practical, but a lot of money is being spent. The need is recognized. And what I'd like to be able to do is create a transition. It's how do you get from here to there without maintaining just the status quo. There are options. They're less expensive, they burn less fuel, they're less polluting, they are less expensive to operate. Part of what I'd like to be able to do is to make aviation training more accessible by lowering the cost. One of the things, Beta has offered to purchase aircraft and lease them back to us and give us an advantageous rate to be able to help lower the cost of training for the college students as well as for the local community, which is another exciting prospect because right now the flight fees can run up to $70,000, and it sure would be nice to knock $10,000 or $12,000 off of that, make it a little more accessible.
Sure, understood. Thank you, Tom. Any other questions for Tom? All right, well, Tom, thank you for your time. We appreciate you virtually coming in today.
Hey, thanks so much for the opportunity. I've enjoyed it. Great to meet all you guys, and thanks for the support.
Thank you very much, Tom. And you've been an amazing partner too with the airport too. So really happy to see you here. Happy to see that your lease is on the action items today too, and looking forward to working with you.
Great. Okay. Have a good afternoon, guys. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
Bye.
Tim, we have about 15 or so minutes before Jeff has to leave.
Okay, thank you for that heads up. So item 5 is the consent agenda. Do we have a motion to approve the contents?
I'll move approval.
And I will second that. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? None. Okay, so item 6, action items. First item up is 6.01, the budget amendment. Do I have a motion to approve the budget amendment?
So moved.
I will second that. Discussion, Marie, can you give us a quick recap, please?
I'd be happy to, and I will move this along. As you can see presented in front of you, we are looking to have a total change budget neutral amendment. These are items that we need to add more money to our expenditure items. You know, the biggest one being our de-icing material. It's more expensive this year, and we use more of it. We had more snow and icing events. The bottom line is, with all of these adjustments, we are increasing and recognizing that our car rental revenues are exceeding our budget that we have this year. So that is how I make this a budget neutral budget amendment. Does anybody have any questions on that?
Nope.
No questions on my end.
Nor I.
All right. Are we ready for the question? If so, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That carries. Item 6.02, North Terminal Carpet Replacement. Do I hear a motion to recommend approval of this contract?
So moved.
And I will second that. I'm not sure who's taking this. Larry, is this you or?
Shelby can take that one.
Shelby's going to take it. Okay. Thank you, Shelby. What do you have for us?
All right, so we have 9,000 square feet of carpet that is needing to be replaced in the North Terminal, specifically in that long hallway that does house the majority of American United skates. That section there is pretty worn, and it is going to continue into that area that is into that skinny pancake Hudson News area at this time. And it is going to match the existing carpet to tie right in.
Okay, so it's that large central area plus the path to gates 1 through 4.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, got it. Okay, great. Commissioners, any questions on that? Okay, if none, all those in favor of recommending approval of this contract, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Item 6.03, Vermont Flight Academy lease agreement.
I'll move approval.
And I will second that. All right, Nick, is that yours or whose is that?
Yep, I'll do this one. So this is, of course, with Tom DeUrso as the executive director of the Vermont Flight Academy. This is a 3-year lease agreement with 2 one-year options associated with it on the existing facility. It's not the entire hangar. It is shared with Civil Air Patrol under a separate lease agreement. But this facility is down in what we call our valley, just over 12,000 square feet, hangar and office space, and very happy to present this as a 5-year extension, especially in light of many of the conversations happening with general aviation in that area. Tom truly has been a great partner in this successful lease.
So it's 3 years with two additional 1-year options to extend it, depending on what happens with beta and all that development, I suspect.
It's somewhat related to that. In fact, there's some language in the lease that specifically identifies if there is a partnership or an association specifically with Beta Technologies within the VFA lease, then there can be some collaboration. If not, there can be some extension of that lease. We're not looking to move from the get-go. We're not looking to change or alter the Valley area. We're hoping that we can expand it specifically for general aviation. So yes, a 3-year, 2 one-year options associated with.
Okay, I'm ready for the vote.
Just one question, because I was going to follow up on that. I think it was Article 18 of the contract that talked about that or potential arrangement. So do you, I know it's hard to say, you know, it's in there for a reason, but do you think that's a likely scenario that sort of cohabitation might come to exist, or is that just, it might happen, so let's put it in there just in case?
Yeah, I think it's more likely than not, for sure.
Okay.
I think that Tom explained it very accurately, that the synergy that his program offers, which is what's called a Part 141 school, a highly structured flight school. Very different than just getting flight instruction at any flight school operations. This is highly structured, regulated, and inspected by the FAA to even offer these types of programs. I hold it very close to my heart because I went through a very similar Part 141 flight training program through school. So there's high synergy, not only in training for Beta's actual aircraft, although that will be very specific to Beta's operation, but encouraging and training all of Beta's pilots associated with their employment. Remember, all Beta offers all of their employees flight training programs. So that's why Tom said that they now offer 30 of their employees flight training. So I think it's highly likely that there's going to be synergy and some sort of incorporation with Beta and VFA, and I hope it does. And as Tom mentioned, I, and many others, including BTC and the school district, Beta, are working together on this new earmark, the $10 million earmark, to make sure that those efficiencies are in place with the infrastructure and of course, their curriculum, which they are the experts at. So I think there's quite a bit of synergy.
Good. All right, commissioners, are we ready for the question?
Yes.
If so, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, hearing none, that concludes action items. So Jeff, I'm not sure if you need to drop, but thank you for participating today, and we will continue until you need to drop off the call today. Next up is item 7, construction update from Larry.
Hi, I have nothing more to add to the construction update other than some news Nick will be providing in his update with regard to some funding that's been realized and other opportunities that have arisen that are in my report. So Nick will cover all the good news. So any questions from my report? I'll gladly answer any questions or explain anything.
Yeah, no questions for me. I did get a look at the inside of the expansion project in the last couple of weeks, and it was amazing the work that you're doing in there. So good job, Larry.
It's gonna be beautiful. Yeah. So thank you.
Yes, when I was going through TSA, I asked the guy if he was excited about the new new space, and he was.
We had a nice program with them the other day. We actually asked them to pick out some of the carpet inside of this new terminal so that they could participate a little bit, at least, with our design, and it works really beautifully. I think it's going to be a great partnership, continued partnership.
Very good. Thank you, Larry. Item 8 is the financial package. Marie, what do you have for us?
Hi, well, you've got this month's report. The financials are for January, the expenses and the revenues. And we have the cash and the AIP receivable information through the end of February. So I guess the big news is, to give you the highlights of this, we had sufficient revenues that came in during the month of January that covered our operating expenses. So once again, from July through January, we've not needed to draw down and use those relief monies. I think as we do some more construction and have increasing expenses, I think in February and some de-icing material and some other things, we'll see how February shakes out in total once all the revenues are accounted for. But we may see a little bit this winter, but our revenues have been incredibly strong. From the parking garage, the car rental concessions, the CFCs, we're seeing really consistently strong. So I've got, the year-to-date numbers here, and our revenues are about almost $6 million higher for the same period compared to 1 year ago when you take out those stimulus funds. So just to give you an idea of how strongly we're recovering here. So I give you the numbers here and show you kind of some comparison to other years, just so that you have some perspective on what it all means. And I guess the biggest shining star is our car rental revenues, which are at 106%. Our year-to-date expenses, I have there about $7.8 million. So we are starting to run a little higher than last year, which is what I've been trying to relay this year. We were running pretty much on par, but we knew that coming into this second half of the year, we would start to see some increases. We were knowing that was going to be the timing of such. So we are starting to see that. However, it's still lower than it was when you look back 2 years ago. We're about $200,000 lower than we were. So our cash, we had about $3.9 million. We did not owe any money to the city, and our AIP receivable was about $2.2 million. So those are the highlights, but I want to give each of you an opportunity to ask any questions that you might have.
For me, I found a couple things. I'll just keep it brief. The repairs and maintenance, I know spending has been really low as a percentage. Right now, we're only at 27%. And I don't know if that's because attention is diverted to the expansion and therefore we're not focusing on repairs and maintenance, or if there's some other reason why that's running behind the pace that it would normally run.
Right, that's a great question. And when we set the budget, we set it much higher this year for the repairs and maintenance. So it's a little, and we also knew that the timing of when we expected to actually implement those repairs and replacements, we knew were going to come into the second half of the year. So it's just about timing of when we planned it, no relation at all to the work, all the great work that's going on with our other construction projects. It's just a matter of timing and when those projects are sort of coming underway. Like we plan on some carpet, and we're going through some renovations in our office, and we know that we'll be replacing some HVAC units for the National Weather Service as part of their lease upgrade, but that's coming, these are things that were hit the useful life. So we knew that those timing wise are going to start to kind of tick and add up. So that's why you're going to see that go up now.
Okay, so that'll mostly close the gap by the end of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah. I assure you, there's many items on the horizon associated with our existing facility, like Marie said, carpet, but the entire terminal we're looking at repainting, redesigning some area, not redesigning, but rehabilitating or maintaining some of the areas that exist in our terminal, spring cleanup, if you will, to catch back up, and not just to spend the money, but because we need to make sure that we focus on maintaining each aspect of our terminal and beyond.
Right. And last month we brought to you some memos which you approved that had to do with a roof replacement on the maintenance shop on the two buildings over there, and on some yard repairs over there. So we haven't started that, but we're getting very close. We'll be starting that as the weather gets a little bit warmer here, and those contracts will be underway. We got approval last week from the city council on those. So you're going to see those things roll out. We're coming to you on any big items like that. So you'll see some of that, certainly the bigger items like that, but you'll see more of that happening.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions for Marie on the financial package?
Nope.
All right, and then our ratings, Marie.
Okay, so we've been busy putting together rating packages and presentations, and then having these meetings. They were about 1 week apart. Fitch reached out to us to do their annual review. They had done it just a year before, and so they wanted to come back. So Fitch, our presentations went really well because our performance has been so strong. I think generally, to give some feedback that we were hearing from each of the Moody's and from Fitch, from those individuals, they were incredibly surprised. Like, I'll quote one of them, I won't say which one, but I'll quote one of them to say, pleasantly surprised to see how well we were recovering, and also pleasantly surprised to see that we had not used, and they were very impressed that we have not needed to draw down on our stimulus money so far year to date. So I think they had a lot of positive things to say to us about our management team, how we've been managing our expenses during the last year, even the last 2 years, they were very, I think, I would have loved that they would have, so Fitch kept the rating the same. They affirmed the rating of BBB. It's been that since September of 2018. It was upgraded in September 2018, but they did revise their outlook. Previously, when COVID started, they did put us on a negative outlook, as they did pretty much almost all small hub airports. That across the board, that was just how their approach was. They revised that and made us a stable outlook. So we were very happy with that. That's to us, that's a great progress. And then Moody's, they went through, and I have it here, they affirmed, they kept us exactly the same, both on our rating, which is Baa2, and they also affirmed our outlook, which is stable. So Moody's is the rating agency that is associated with our bond refinance, which the investor package went out this week. It is out there, and hopefully the pricing will be happening in the next week or two with the bond refinance, with a closing scheduled to happen in April. So that is where we are at with that, but Moody's is part of that. So as part of that process, they also, so it just happened, we were a week apart on each of these rating industries.
Good.
Great.
Yeah, that's very, very good news.
All right. Any other follow-ups from Marie on the ratings conversation? All right, we'll move on. Item 9 is noise monitoring.
Okay, so we had a total of 220 comments from cumulative, so starting from July 24th, 2021 to the end of February. And we had, this time I split them up by the unique number of addresses per town, so you could see how it was distributed a little bit differently on the first slide there. And sorry,
Do we need to bring it up on the
would you like me to?
No.
Okay. And then in the second slide, we had the comment type split up. And then for the next meeting, we'll have comments and unique addresses, including a specific number of comments. Is that how you wanted that?
Yeah, I'll connect with you after, Hannah.
Talk about that. Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. But thank you. All right, commissioners, any comments on the noise slides for this month?
No.
Okay. Move on to item 10, commissioner items. There were none submitted in advance, but does anyone have anything they'd like to say? Okay, hearing none. Item 11, director's report.
So I don't have a nice PowerPoint presentation for you this week. Marie hinted at it, but we are undergoing a pretty significant office renovations. So we all don't really have desks right now, but it's a really positive change. In fact, they're finishing up this week, and we should be able to move in to our offices this week, which is tied to our terminal integration project as well, and splitting up of some of those areas. Just a quick update on rezoning. The City of South Burlington Planning Commission subcommittee, or the Airport Rezone Task Force, is meeting again tomorrow night. I'm eager to hear some of the options available to us and the options that are being presented as part of that rezoning package. I know there's been some hesitation already, and I have reflected pretty significantly on that and want to make sure that we are able to hear and address the neighbors' concerns, especially when it's related to the use of that property, the public use of the property, multi-use pathways, benches, berms, things like that that truly can be incorporated into that property as we look at future expansion. We are preparing a FAQ or a fact sheet associated with that property on exactly what we're looking for. And I think the direction of that rezoning task force is right on par with what we'd like to see. We would like to see a change in the zone, but I think there's a way to do that we can accomplish some of these goals. So I'm looking forward to releasing that. I'm not sure yet when the next public forum is. It's either March 31st or April 7th, depending on what happens tomorrow night. And we'll be able to hear additional comments from everybody associated with that. I should say that the task force will be able to hear comments. Quick update on the winter season, as Marie mentioned, a pretty expensive de-icing season this year. Lots of ice. Dave and his team and the entire maintenance team with Shelby and her teams are really doing an outstanding job, trying the best we can to control some of those costs. There's only so much we can do to operate a safe airport. I think a great item this year is we were able to commission a new, what's called a liquid de-icing solution out on the airfield, which I think has saved, and Dave might shake his head on this one, has saved us many times because of some pretty interesting weather events. Looking forward to closing the door on a winter season this year, as I think many of us are. I'll skip over the bullet point there on terminal projects. The tip is going exceptionally well. Larry's managing the team and the consultants and engineering really, really well. Lots of things happening. Now we're getting into the detail work where this is where the public is going to be able to see this pretty soon. Ceilings, paint, all carpet, all the things that are coming together to start talking about opening the door to that in October. Many months away, but really exciting stuff. We're embarking on the north renovation still. And I just noticed that Jeff had to leave. So I might pause here just to make sure we're fully in compliance here, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, so we are technically out of quorum. I actually have not had this happen, so I defer to Helen. You've seen this happen before. Fortunately, we have no more formal actions. Well, actually, adjournment would be the only one. But obviously, if you fall out of quorum, you don't have to move to adjourn. I am okay with presentation of material, but I'm not totally familiar if that is permissible or not.
Well, I've never had it happen to me, but I believe we can go on with presentations as long as we don't take action.
Right. That's my understanding as well. If you're both comfortable with that, and it is just presentation of material, anyways. No different than if I met with the two of you in person. It wouldn't be a quorum. Yep.
Are
Okay.
we down a commission member or something?
Bill Kehoe's seat is we're down that particular seat.
Oh, he's resigned?
He has officially resigned, yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he moved to Shelburne and therefore cannot serve as a commissioner any longer.
I guess I missed that email. Okay.
Yeah. So it is advertised on the City of Burlington website for another commission seat. We're also waiting for guidance from our city attorney's office on the potential or additional 2 seats, one additional City of Burlington seat and the City of Winooski seat as well.
All right.
And as soon as I have that guidance, I'll make sure to relay that to you as well, which may be a future challenge if we're down 3. So I think you still have a quorum if we have all 4 members of the commission at the meetings, but we'll make sure we provide all that guidance to you.
Yes, because currently we have to have 3 out of 4 technically. So that means only one person can be absent and still have quorum.
Right. Okay, as soon as I have that guide, that's an important one. As soon as I have that guidance, I will share that right away.
Okay.
Thank you.
I was just briefly talking about the north renovations as we prepare to open up the TIP project. We are also undergoing some renovations in the north security checkpoint. we're moving forward pretty good on that. We still have some design work to do, and we'll be able to share that with you hopefully in the next couple of commission meetings. Just to prepare you for some upcoming action items, we recently went out to bid for a airfield paint contract. Thank you, Larry, Dave, Shelby, and the whole team, and including those that you don't necessarily see all the time. Travis Mott, our airfield maintenance foreman, huge part in putting that contract together. We've done this for the last 2 or 3 years, which helps us prepare for and really knock it out of the ballpark during our annual FAA inspection, to relieve some of the pressure from our internal paint crew to paint all of the lines out in the airfield, and then hire a little bit of help to help with the some of the other fields. We can't get it all done in that time before the inspection. We don't necessarily need to, but it's really good for us to prepare and get ready immediately after winter and get ready for those inspections. So you'll see that coming before you probably next month to the commission. We also have, and then the big news, like Larry said, some amazing funding news for you. So one, the COVID relief. Marie did a great job explaining all of that, so I won't dive into that too much, but extremely proud that the team has been able to manage those expenses and see the revenues increase more and more every single day. And we love vacation time. We saw awesome numbers during February break. We expect fantastic numbers during April vacation. We can't wait to welcome our Canadian friends back into the airport, and we're looking for all of that to increase. As Maria and I talk about all the time, we do see that dip right now where we're going to have to draw down from the COVID relief funds, but my hope is the revenues will increase as the summer months and the schedules from the airlines increase as well. Our infrastructure bill, or the big bill, I'm happy to report today that if you remember a couple of months ago, I presented 2 buckets of funding. One was allocated to the airport, which is $4 million a year for 5 years to Burlington Airport. The other funding is competitive in nature. Some of the boxes to be competitive is, are you ready to move into construction? Is this a phased project? Did you already start a phase of your project? Is it a terminal project? We check a lot of those boxes right now. So I'm happy to report with significant support from Larry and some of our consultant teams that we just put in a $35 million pre-grant application to perform our next phase of our terminal project. That phase extends what we're looking at today even further to the south. It also looks at removing our existing south concourse so that we can better serve our passengers. Again, this is competitive in nature. This is step 1 of many steps, but we're very hopeful and we believe that we are in line and very competitive to receive some of these funding, some of this funding. The congressionally delegated spending that was recently announced in the news, I believe last week, was it? This was all that congressionally delegated spending, or earmarks as we know it. That was part of the $10 million that Tom was referencing. That $10 million doesn't come to the airport, that goes to the Burlington Technical Center. However, I'm happy to report that we received $7 million totally outside of that. That $7 million will be to add a new general aviation apron. This is adjacent to the Beta manufacturing proposal. It is I call it a general aviation ramp because it is a non-exclusive ramp, meaning it truly is for any general aviation or any aviation entity or use for the apron space. That's a $5 million project, and that is part of our earmarks coming to Burlington. The remaining $2 million of that $7 million is for a brand new jet bridge, and that will be installed at the very end of our terminal integration project. Larry's preparing the bids for that right now with his team. And we're happy and very excited to see a brand new jet bridge to accommodate some of our larger aircraft. May not be, it might tie into the opening of the terminal project, but because we don't know when necessarily the funding, the actual signed document funding is coming, it might be a little bit after that. And then the final piece on my list here is the omnibus funding for federal fiscal year 2023. We are now looking at applying for, or at least pushing for, additional funds for another terminal project. The reason there's so many terminal projects associated with these earmarks or omnibus or infrastructure fundings is it's very rare and highly unlikely that a small hub airport like ourselves will ever get terminal funding through the airport improvement program or through the FAA. Generally, that's for larger hub airports. So this is our opportunity to really dive into those funding sources. And we have a huge advocate and a powerful senator to help us with that this year for one more year. So we're going to try to pursue that in the upcoming months. That's approximately another $15 million on the North Terminal project. And that is my list.
Good.
That's a great list, Nick.
It sure is.
It's so exciting. I hope you hear some of the excitement in my voice, because it truly is exciting every day, because there's so much happening. Yes, there's challenges. Yes, there's some struggles on a day-to-day basis. But boy, oh boy, is it energizing. That's the word that we keep using. Yeah.
Great. Well, it's good that we have funding. I know, as you mentioned, funding is sometimes hard to come by. So it's great that we have this opportunity to make improvements to the airport.
I agree.
For sure.
All right. So that's item 11. Item 12 are the follow-up items. So,
Yes. So
go ahead.
1201 is we decided to keep from last meeting the orientation conducted by airport staff on public right to know. So that will we'll keep that on.
Yes. And has there been any update from the city attorney on that in the past month?
So yes, there has, and we can have, as soon as Dan Richardson or Tim Devlin, who is the assistant city attorney assigned to the airport, that he's our prime point of contact, we can prepare them and have them attend one of the meetings for a short presentation on some of these public right to knows or open meeting rules.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be great.
It'd be good to have that coordinated with the any new members.
Yeah, that's
a good idea, Helen. We can do that in July or whenever that takes place.
Yeah. So we all get up to speed at the same time.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. Okay. 1202, update from airport staff on communication with the city on taxi rules.
So,
I'm happy to provide an update on that.
Great.
Is that okay with you, Tim?
absolutely. Thank you, Shelby.
I had a wonderful conversation this morning with Haley. She is a city attorney who does manage the vehicle for hire program with the city. She would like to join us next meeting if it's acceptable for everybody to give us a clear delineation of vehicle for hire matters that will be downtown, and then some of the Appendix E, which is very specific to airport vehicle for hire entities, and the role that the commission is going to be able to play in that. And some of the updated practices and memos that we'll have the opportunity to bring forward for consideration from you all in light of COVID practices.
Yes, that would be wonderful to have that conversation. Thank you for making that arrangement.
Wonderful. We'll add it to the agenda.
I'm just curious in terms of public transportation with the buses. they averted a strike, but they did cut back on rural routes. But I'm assuming have they changed any routes to the airport? Are there fewer or something like that?
Not
you
at
know?
this time. It is something that we're monitoring. Chapin Spencer, who's the director of DPW, he does sit on the board and does provide updates as necessary for any changes for the city of Burlington and the airport. But as far as I know, nothing for the airport.
Okay, good.
Okay, 12:03, airport staff to present analysis of types of incidents involving police at the airport. We're working with BPD on getting a report for you. So hopefully next meeting we'll have something to provide to you at the commission meeting.
Okay, thank you.
12.04, infrastructure bill funding awarded to Vermont airports. We kept this on from last meeting, Helen, because I know this is something you had wanted to see.
So Helen, what we did was we attached, we attached the spreadsheet of all allocations of that infrastructure bill into the board docs. We can email it to you as well, which shows every state airport and what they received as well.
Thank you. I have not reviewed it, but I will.
Great. And 12.05, map of homes and noise program, ratio of houses by community and appeal process. Do you want to talk about that?
Sure. So that we're still working on that. We do not yet have the map besides the map that we showed last time of the 19 homes. Right. We do not yet have the map of the next 50 houses. When we do, that'll be another map similar to what you've seen in the past. The appeal process, the ratio, the implementation of the noise plan is on our website, so that folks can actually see what that ratio looks like, and look through the entire implementation process. I am happy to say though that we are at 90% design, and Larry, correct me if I'm wrong, but 90% design of the first 19 houses. So we're just about ready to go out to bid on those first 19 houses. The relationship and the communication between Larry, our consultants, and the neighbors that are participating this year has been truly outstanding. A lot of very grateful folks, and super excited to kick this into the next level, so that we can see even more, and very, very excited to actually construct some of these facilities. If you remember last meeting, I believe it was, where we just received approval on any house that's within the noise contour line at the 70 DNL and greater up to 75. Any of those houses are now eligible to receive these noise insulation programs without additional acoustical testing.
In part of the application that we're preparing right now for the next grant for the next 10, which will include the design of the next 50. So we'll be able to put those out to bid and apply for the money to construct those after that's completed.
Can I ask a question? Was there any like surprises when you went through the 19 homes and determined what each home could be provided?
Yeah. Oh, sorry, Larry. I would say yes, mostly related to code issues or other issues that once we get into that house, the project started looking much greater. Mm-hmm. So we're going to get that. We're going to get that on a unique house scenario, and we'll work with the homeowners as best as possible, because those types of things are not eligible as part of the program. But we want to make sure we have the resources, and we want to extend or at least point to the right direction on where those resources are located, for the city of South Burlington or Winooski or any town to get involved in that type of situation. But other than that, Larry, anything else on that?
Just that where a homeowner needs to do some improvements before we can do improvements. So code is related. Yep. So,
Yeah.
And then, were we able to, or were you able to integrate any of this work with Efficiency Vermont? I mean, I know we talked about while you're, putting new windows in and junk, is this the good time to put a new furnace in?
Yeah, great question. I'm glad you brought that up, actually. We just met, we meet monthly, and our consultant teams meet monthly with Vermont Gas System. And Vermont Gas Systems is really the liaison with all of these other partners like Efficiency Vermont, BED, GMP. So we just met with them, and they're super excited, not only to help fund for the pieces of the project that they would otherwise have funded 100% of, like a new window, they would have bought 100% of the new window, or the homeowner would have. Now they only have to participate at the 10% level. And sometimes even less, because some of our recent grants were funded at 100%. So we kind of get a little bit of a head start, hidden, I guess, benefit of the pandemic, because that's why it changed in the federal legislation to provide airports with 100% grant funding. VGS is also really being quite successful in not only the data that they've already collected, especially in South Burlington, to identify the houses that have already gone through some of the efficiency design work or planning efforts, so we can incorporate that and save time with our project and with their project. But they're also able to have that direct connection with the homeowner, so that exactly what you just said, Helen, whether it's a new furnace or an upgraded weatherization program, they can help provide the guidance, resources, and in some cases 0% financing on some of these projects with some of their partners outside of this. So it's a huge benefit to allow this all kind of happen together.
Has the public, one last question, I'm sorry to really dig on this. If your home, if you've sort of already started working on weatherization so that you are better positioned to really take full advantage of the funding through this and other aspects, does that improve your ability to be selected sooner rather than later? And if so, is that something, you've let the public know that if you're one of these homes and we have this other coordinated program, it might be a good time to, do whatever you can.
No, it really doesn't, because the FAA really wants to see those higher decibel level areas first started. They're not looking at it from a weatherization standpoint, although there's benefits, both weatherization and noise related. But they're really looking at it.
Okay.
Start at this line, work outwards from there. So it really doesn't. It really won't have an impact if you've already started or participated or constructed.
Okay. That's all for me.
Although it would be a great incentive to see those homes move ahead.
Yeah, well, yeah, it might be good information for them.
Yeah.
Have this would be a really good time to get on board with that.
Yeah.
Great, good questions, Helen. Thank you. So that is the last formal item on the agenda. We do not need to move to adjourn because we were technically not in quorum. But before we go, does anyone else have anything that they want to share today?
No, I'm just glad you called. I really apologize. I have this brand new baby granddaughter. So, she's 2.5 weeks old and darling. So I've been out here helping with her.
That's
Amazing.
wonderful. Congratulations, Helen. That's great.
Thank you, yeah.
Congratulations.
It's cool. Much easier to be a grandparent than the mother, I'll tell you. So it's fun, but I'm coming back Friday. Okay. Well, thank you, Tim.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for taking time out today. I appreciate it. We'll see you all on April 20th.
Perfect.
Stephen.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.